Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Joining us today is David Doerrier, a facilitation and presentation skills expert who delivers high workshops that challenges audiences to leverage the speaking and leadership skills they already possess and incorporate interactions principles that will get any audience to listen and commit to their idea. Hello, David.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. My audience are excited to hear your story. Just start by telling us one thing we are going to learn from you today that will help us on our journey to success.
Well, thank you for that question, Patience. That's a great question. So what will people learn today? I hope they take away maybe a nugget or two on how to connect to their audience. That's what I teach, is not only basic presentation skills, but also how to connect emotionally to an audience. So I hope they take away a couple of nuggets.
Wow. I can't wait to hear more about that. Let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, what you did before you started your own business?
That's a great question. Well, my background is quite varied. I have a lot going on. After high school, I entered the United States Air Force, and the Air Force was a part of my life for 28 years. I did 10 years active duty and 18 years in the reserves. Something that I'd always dreamed about was getting into radio broadcasting. I started in radio while I was stationed on Guam. I came off active duty primarily to pursue my fame and fortune in radio broadcasting. Found a lot of the fame, but none of the fortune, so had to end up going out and getting a real job. Eventually, the Air Force Reserves, offered me an opportunity to become a trainer here in Marietta, Georgia. And that's when, that was in the mid-90s, and that's when I started learning the craft of designing training, delivering training on a regular basis. And eventually I started working for other companies and eventually designed a course, train the trainer course, training subject matter experts to be trainers that were in the company that I was working for. And I found that I loved it and I was good at it and I had a good stage side manner. So to make a long story short, I have been a part of training and development for 30 years, doing just about everything you can imagine. But the thing that I love the most is training subject matter experts to be engaging facilitators, trainers, and meeting organizers, and so on.
Wow, what a background, David. But why do you do what you do?
Well, the reason I do what I do is because I love it, and I feel I have a good stage side manner. What I have found along the way when it comes to speaking skills, public speaking skills, people get a little sensitive when you give them constructive feedback. And also people are a little sensitive. What I have found is that subject matter experts feel that because they are an expert in the field, that automatically makes them an expert speaker or an expert trainer. And I'm not trying to come across as that I know it all, but I feel that I am an expert in facilitation skills and helping people to engage an audience. Being an expert in your craft or in your field is great. You need to have that foundation. But what you also need to understand is how to engage an audience, how to craft your message so you have a great opening, a conclusion, transitions, and so on, so your message sticks. So I feel that I know this well, and I love teaching presentation skills.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful?
How do I know that I am successful? That is a great question. Well, one of the ways that I know that I am successful is because of the feedback that I get from my clients. I have over 120 recommendations on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get that equal amount on my Google business page. I have 31 there now. However, so that's one way that I know that I am being effective. I also feel that I'm being effective because my clients are referring me to other people that they feel that could use my services. And my bank account. So those are some ways that I know that I am being effective.
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
The magic moment when everything went right for me. Another great question. You're asking some really good questions, and I love those questions that really make me think. So when things were really going right for me, I guess is that I'm 65 years old. I'm not having a difficult time finding employment or finding clients. I've heard of, and I feel that at my age and so on, that that may limit some people because of their age. Maybe not, but at least that's my thinking at times. So when did I think that it all went well? I guess when I first started in training, I just knew that this was for me. I really took to it. I understood the process of designing training, learning. I'm not saying I knew all this at the beginning. I've learned training by the seat of my pants. I've gone to the Dave D School of Hard Knocks, learning training and development. And I'm still learning today. But I knew in the beginning that this is what I wanted to do. I left radio broadcasting. I also was doing a lot of theater, community theater at the time. And I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I understood objectives, and I understood that I needed to learn how to engage an audience. So I guess when did it all kind of click? Right at the beginning, when I was introduced to training, being a part of it, being a subject matter expert, and learning the craft of training and development.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
Well, that's an area that I am still learning. I think that the biggest thing in business is that I've learned is that it's not about me. It's what is it that I can bring to my audience. It's not I do this and I do that and I do this other thing. It's what is it that I have that can benefit you or benefit my audience. So that's one of the big things that I've learned. And the other thing I've learned is I need to have focus. I need to, when it comes to presentation skills, anybody can benefit from presentation skills. So when someone asks, who's my audience? Well, everybody. Well, that doesn't work. So I need to have a specific audience. And my specific audience or my sweet spot is the IT industry and working with folks that are transitioning from developers in software into a training role or into a sales role or into a leadership role that need to engage their audience.
Tell us, what is the secret to a powerful presentation and being also engaged from the stage?
That another great question. So the secret to a good presentation, the first secret is you need to know your audience. You need to develop your presentation that is going to be relevant and engaging to your audience. Short story, last week I was at a networking group and a gentleman who is an architect was giving his 5 to 7 minute presentation to the group. And he delivered that presentation as if he was delivering it to a room full of architects that were at an architect convention. And there was a great example of him not knowing his audience. So you need to craft your message in a way that's going to be relevant to your audience. So that would be secret number one.
What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
Okay, so what's the most dangerous belief that an entrepreneur could have? And another great question. I would say that the most dangerous belief is that they can do everything for anybody. And I've come across that especially with coaches. So many coaches will say that they're a leadership coach. Well, can you do this? Oh yeah, I can do that as well. Well, what about this type of coaching? Oh yeah, I can do that too. So I think it's biting off more than they can chew. The entrepreneur needs to understand their audience, just like a speaker. An entrepreneur also needs to know, who is my audience? Who is going to purchase my product? Who is going to be the one group of people that are going to be most attracted to my product. So I would say the most dangerous thing would be trying to do everything for everybody.
What is the ABCD of speaking in the public?
That's a really good one because I have a course on the ABCs of speaking. The A would be your agenda. You need to understand the who, what, where, when, why, and how. Who are you speaking to? What are you speaking about? Where are you speaking? Why are you speaking? How are you going to be speaking? For example, how would be, are you going to do it virtually, in a room, on a stage? Is there a microphone? Is there where you can have your PowerPoint? Is there a screen? Who, what, where, when, why, and how. There's a million questions that you need to answer to understand the A, the agenda. The purpose of and I'll get to the B and C in just a moment, but the objective of understanding your ABCs is that the more that you're able to prepare for your speaking engagement, the more question marks you eliminate from your head, so you feel more relaxed and you feel that you are ready to speak to your audience. Now, let me take a sidetrack here. Being nervous is normal. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm so nervous when I speak." Well, guess what? You're normal. I get nervous. Everybody gets nervous before they speak. I was nervous coming into this presentation today, but it's normal. The thing is learning your foundational speaking skills. So this way, when it comes to speaking, that foundation is strong, that you can tap into your foundation so you can work through that nervousness or change it. It's not nervousness, it's excitement. I am so excited to be here today to talk to you, patients, and talk to all of your listeners. So back to the ABCs. A is your agenda. B is the beliefs. Your ABCs are extremely important. All of them are important, but this one I'd say is the most important. Have you ever heard someone say, "I can't get up and speak in front of an audience. There is no way. I'm too nervous to speak in front of this audience"? Well, right now they're killing their beliefs. They're already telling themselves that they're going to fail. Well, here's a trick. Number one, your audience wants you to be successful. Probably the only person in that room that feels that you're going to do a bad job is you, the speaker. Everybody wants you to be successful. Again, being nervous is normal. A, your agenda. B, your beliefs. And C are the 5 core communication skills. Listen, eye contact, breathing, vocal variety, and nonverbals are part of your C's. So, ABCs.
If you could rerun the first year of your business, what would you definitely know to do?
If I could go back and redo the first year of my business, I would hire a coach, a business coach, and help me to really get focused on who my audience is and what my message is. That's something that really took me some time to identify. And I in some ways, I'm still working on that today. So I would say that hiring a business coach and really clearly identify who am I, what am I doing, who is my audience, and how can I best craft a message that's going to talk to my audience.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
Well, I still give away free coaching, especially to veterans. I am a veteran. I'm retired military, and I am a mentor with a couple of veterans groups. So I continue to give it away. And in trade, I ask that if they received value from my coaching, my 60-minute coaching, that they give me a review on LinkedIn and also on Google. So I would say that the most valuable thing that I've been able to give away is my coaching, which I continue to do today.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
Evaluating myself, watching my recordings with Zoom. It's so easy to hit the record button and then to watch myself. So getting that feedback, not only from me watching myself, but I also ask my clients, what is it that I can do better? What is it that you felt that was maybe confusing? What did I do well? So I always ask those questions at the end of our coaching sessions, and I also record those, and I ask if I can keep those and to put those on my website or put them on LinkedIn so people can hear directly from my clients on what it is I'm doing well and what it is that I could do better.
What grounds you?
What grounds me? Well, that's something that I continue to work on every day. My wife is great at grounding me. My wife is great at saying, David, you've got to be here. You've got to be in the present moment. You can't be over there next week, or you can't be over here or over in this other place. I work with a therapist as well. I've been working with a therapist for a number of years. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my head. I have a whole theater going on in my head all the time. I have to continuously remind myself, come back, David, come back, be right here. So what grounds me? The notes that I have pasted up on my wall that tell me to be in the present moment, and my wife.
You mentioned that you have a coach. What is the most valuable thing your mentors or your coach has told you?
Is not trying to, how is the expression about the elephant, about trying to eat the entire elephant at one time? It's trying to break it down into small bits and pieces. You know, what's interesting is I'm great at coaching others. And I'll put it out there. I feel I do a great job coaching others. And I hear coaches say that all the time. I'm horrible at coaching myself. So my coach helps me to just focus, to take things in small bites, and to just focus on that one thing, be patient. I think there it is. There's the word. Patience. Patience. There you go.
Wow, thank you. Tell us the best practice of e-learning development.
The best practice for e-learning development. So when it comes e-learning, if you're developing e-learning, which is training, that's one word for it. People have different words for the online training or asynchronous training or synchronous training or online different forms of online training. But when it comes to designing training, and this is the same with designing a speech, designing a workshop, writing a book, to me, the first step is always starting with your conclusion first. So if you're creating a speech, for example, or if you're creating training, just imagine at the very end where you are presenting the conclusion. In this e-learning course, you learned A, B, C, and D. In A, you learned very briefly this, B this, C this, and D this. So you start with your conclusion first. What is the objective? You've got to have an objective. A lot of people forget that. And what becomes overwhelming for people when it comes to designing a speech or designing training, or I have to put together this book, it becomes overwhelming. Like, where do I start? I've seen it so many times. I've got all this information. Where do I start? And where many people start is in the beginning of, like, they start crafting this introduction. Well, having an introduction is great. You've got to have it. However, it's like going on vacation. If you don't know the destination, how are you going to pack? What type of transportation are you going to use to get there? You know, all of those things that go into thinking about the vacation you're going to go on. When are you leaving? How are you going to get there? What do you need to take? And all of that. You've got to have your destination first. So my response to your question is always start with your conclusion first.
Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it and who can join you.
Thank you. Yeah. So my business is presentation skills, facilitation skills. My ideal client The folks that are most attracted to me are corporate. These would be a team of trainers. Many times in an organization, folks are promoted into a training position more so because of their subject knowledge and less because they have training skills. All of these folks want to do a great job. Many of them feel that there's something missing, that they just can't seem to connect to their audience. So that's my ideal client, is that group of trainers, group of salespeople that need to understand those basic facilitation skills so they can connect to their audience and convey their message in an engaging way. With that said, I can help anybody with their presentation skills, all the way to mom that wants to do a better job at the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association.
And how can we connect with you?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am the only David Doerrier that you should find. If you find another one, let me know about it. With Doerrier, you may find my sisters on there, and you may find my brothers on LinkedIn, but there is no other David Doerrier. I post just about every day. I post things about presentation and facilitation skills. Lately, I've been posting things about the adult learning theory, which is at the core of my training. You can also find me on my website, presentyourwaytosuccess.com. And while you're there roaming around on my website, go ahead and download my free ebook on the adult learning theory.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patience. This has been a lot of fun.
You are welcome. Remember, success is a journey. Don't wait. Let's start the journey. Patience and David.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest, and want you to know that there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on her website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast and are only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps us each chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on the favorite platform you have to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at Apple Podcasts and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share the journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out our coaching sessions on how to set goals and double your productivity while you're at the website. Working with Patience is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.